Welcome back to Midpoint from the 3rd Congressional District in Pennsylvania. Also serving on the House Ways and Means Committee, Republican Mike Kelly. Congressman, the word came out on the Washington Post earlier today that there will be a primetime announcement Thursday night from the president. He will apparently, according to a senior Democratic official, receive official details on the president's plan, then hand it to Congress. He'll face the nation on Thursday. He will say, this is my action. The executive action goes through on immigration. Now, you've been in business for yourself. You're not a career politician, as you said. How do you then react then as a businessman or anybody else when a guy on the other side of the desk leans over, spits in your eye and says, go ahead, I dare you?
Well, I think that the country is witnessing something right now that I don't think in our entire history we've ever looked at in a constitutional crisis where the executive, and I don't care what party he represents, but whenever our chief executive officer, whenever our president of the United States overreaches so egregiously the powers that he has and says to the Congress, you are no longer relevant, you are no longer important. I watched him do it in the State of the Union last year, and what was more surprising and sickening than anything else is that half of the people on the other side of the aisle stood up and cheered that. He said, you just were cheering for a man who told you, you don't count, you don't matter, you're irrelevant to me. It's absolutely astounding what's going on right now for this president to push that issue and say, this is the time we have to do it. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it's hypothetical. I want to wait until I see what he does, and we will wait as a party to see what he does, and then we will react to whatever it is. But I think that right now, in the history of our country, we've never had such an internal crisis as we've had, not since the mid-1800s, of what we're going through right now. Why would this president choose this issue and cause a constitutional crisis? I would really suggest to him, there's a book out that I read years ago. It was really a turning point in my life. It's by Pastor Rick Warren, and it's called The Purpose-Driven Life. But it starts off, the very first words, it's not about me. This is a president who everything is about him. It's about his legacy or what he's going to say is his legacy. I would hate to see him go down in history, or maybe he wants to go down in history, is the guy who tore America apart. 6 years of watching this man operate is absolutely, to me, it's egregious. And I think as the people, not just as a Republican Party, and the American people need to stand up and be heard right now. This is not about immigration. This is about an overreach by a president who has said consistently that he's not a king, I'm not an emperor, I can't just change the law, I've got to work through the Constitution. He has upset not only people in my party, but the citizens of this country by leapfrogging what has been put in place very carefully by a lot of people, and 1.4 million men in uniform have died to make sure that we have this Constitution protected. They took that oath. We take that oath when we come into office. Here's the president. Apparently, the oath doesn't mean anything. The oath of office to him is insignificant because what he's going to do is horrible.
Let's do this, though. Only a couple minutes left here. Is it not, though, more logical at this point, maybe for the Congress, sit back, don't react, don't overreact. Say, all right, look, we'll fund only to a certain point until January. We're going to come back in January. We are then in power, and let's address it as then. Wouldn't that be the thing to do? Because you and I both know there is going to be a snapback against the Republican Party if indeed the reaction is too harsh and is too shrill. It's happened before.
Yeah, and I agree with you. We don't want it to be harsh. We don't want it to be shrill. But what we want at the end of the day is that we represent the American people. 705,687 people from the 3rd District of Pennsylvania sent me to represent them in this town. And I think that all of us have that obligation. We have that responsibility. We take our oath very seriously. We will wait to see what he does. It won't be shrill. It won't be something that's a thumb in his eye. But what it will be is backing up what this country has always been based on and what has made us the most exceptional country the world has ever known. We have a Constitution. We follow it. It is the envy of the world. I don't think we should allow one man to upset it. And I think we'll look very carefully what he offers. We'll come back with a very thoughtful response to it, and we will uphold the oath of office that we took. Unfortunately, the President of the United States is not doing that.
Is impeachment or a lawsuit on your radar?
I think probably lawsuit more than impeachment. As you know, impeachment right now, it would have to be a case that really we would take a look at. I don't want to say that stuff's off the table. I think anytime we say things are off the table, then we kind of weaken our position. I would say we would use whatever tools we have in the box to protect the American people and to defend the Constitution of the United States. I just think that's who we are. I think that's who we've always been. And if you came to this office and people elected you to do it, and you don't have the stomach or the backbone to do it, please just resign and go back home, live a life of leisure, and don't get involved in things. This is going to be critical to our country going forward and to our Constitution.
Congressman, I don't want to put words in your mouth, 30 seconds left, but everything we've heard from the president, everything that he has said, should we just use simple words and call the president one of the best and one of the maybe the worst presidential liars we've seen in generations?
Well, people tell me you shouldn't use the word liar, but you know where I come from, Ed? If it waddles like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen a president who cannot tell the truth. And when he does get caught on something, he says, no, you don't understand. I didn't find out about this until I read the newspaper or saw the TV. He knows exactly what he's doing. It's been very carefully laid out. It's a strategy that this man has laid out in his administration. The most clear and transparent that ever would be? Absolutely. It's very clear, and it's very transparent to me.
By the way, Congressman, are you a good duck hunter?
You know what? I don't shoot ducks. I have friends that do it. I'm more of a buck hunter. I like antler deer.
We'll have to see, though, if you're going to get good at ducks here, because a lot of people just might do that. Congressman Mike Kelly, all out of time. Always a pleasure, my friend. Take care, and thank you.
Thanks, Ed. God bless.
All right. Don't forget, later on, Telling It Like It Is, Adrian Peterson, and a whole lot more.